have your attention. This is the Appalachian Trail Tennessee podcast. I'm your host, Kenneth Medley. On this episode, we are joined by thru-hiker Noah Naseri, and he's here to shed some light on trail terminology like the word thru-hiker. Thank you for joining me today, Noah. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Kenny.
We are on the streets of Johnson City, sitting under a little awning out of the weather outside of the Willow Tree Coffee House and Music Room. It's a really good place to be, so if you haven't checked it out, come down and check it out. Can you go ahead, take a minute, just tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me about your hike.
So, like you said, I'm Noah Naseri. I teach school in Greene County, and in 2014, I thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail. And so what that means is I started in Georgia with my then girlfriend Kayla. We started in early April in Georgia, and we hiked the entirety of the Appalachian Trail, which is like 2,100-ish miles. It changes every year. One go, no breaks. That's what thru-hiker means. So when you hear people using the word thru-hiker, that means that they are attempting to, or they've done the entire portion or the entirety of the Appalachian Trail once.
Now, is that the only way to do it?
No. Okay. So yeah, it's a good point. We were NOBOs.
Okay.
And NOBO just is short for northbound. So from Georgia to Maine going north. There's also SOBOs. And that would obviously mean southbound, starting at Katahdin in Maine. So the ATC is trying to get people to do different hikes, NOBO, SOBO, sort of flip-flop, starting here, starting there. Even if they're going to do sort of the entirety of the trail, to kind of mix it up, just to sort of spread the wear out on the trail.
Okay.
Because when you get a lot of people sort of condensed, hiking together, it does tend to wear on the trail a bit more.
Like a herd and overgrazing and stuff like that.
That's a good way to put it. So what's
the flip-flopper then?
Yeah, so the flip-flopper, like I said, the ATC is trying to encourage people to do non-traditional sort of hikes. And also if you're deterred by the cold weather, or perhaps you have a time constraint. So what a lot of people do is they might start in Georgia and then hike to Harper's Ferry, which is the non-traditional, the sort of the unofficial halfway point. So hike from Georgia, go halfway, and then go to Maine and hike south.
Okay.
Back to Harper's Ferry. So you're doing the whole entirety of the trail in a year. So technically you're a thru-hiker, but you flip-flopped it.
Okay.
So you hiked from Georgia to Harper's Ferry north, and then from Katahdin to Harper's Ferry south.
So you're kind of northbound and southbound in
the
same year.
Yeah, get a little taste of both, I guess you'd say.
Well, if somebody didn't have the endurance to do a thru hike, is there another way?
Yeah, definitely. In fact, so you can also, I guess, section hike, which is not technically a thru hike, and the ATC is encouraging people to also do section hikes, because you can spread that out over the course of the entire calendar year. Okay. So instead of just hiking during thru-hiker season, perhaps you could do more hikes in the winter or some areas in the fall where the thru-hikers aren't, so it's a little less traffic. Section hiking allows you to slow down, appreciate the trail, appreciate the trail towns, and really soak it all in and enjoy your experience in the wilderness, because that's what it's all about.
I know that there's a lot of day hikers out there nowadays too, and that's families going out just for the day, doing a little small piece, or going to look at a waterfall along the trail somewhere like Laurel.
Yeah, that's
here
a huge
in
day
East
hiker
Tennessee.
spot.
Yeah, I know pretty much any time you go down there, the parking lot's full during the summertime unless there's bad weather. And then you said something else in there, Trail Town. I know that Roan Mountain just became the 41st Trail Community, and that makes them kind of a trail town.
Yeah, which is an official designation.
Okay.
I think by, I don't know if it's the ATC or if it's ALDA, which is
it's a governing body of sorts or somewhere.
One of those governing bodies. That would be an official trail community, which means they've applied and they meet certain criteria to sort of facilitate hikers in their community. But a trail town is just, you know, any town along the trail. Damascus, Hot Springs, Harper's Ferry, you know, Roan Mountain. Even though it's not directly on the trail, it's close enough to the trail to hitch a ride or to get to it.
And these are just kind of towns that have been unofficially designated friendly by hikers that have through hiked before or section hiked certain areas, and you can go into these towns and you're not kind of shunned for being a maybe less than smelling friendly hiker.
Hiker trash, you mean?
Well, I wasn't gonna say hiker trash, but
some people use that as a term of endearment and pride.
Yeah. But what is hiker trash? It's not necessarily, you said, you know, some people wear it as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
But it's not a derogatory term. So
most people don't look at it that way. I don't know whether I would be considered hiker trash or not. It's just, you know, for someone that's been removed from society for so long, you kind of abandon societal norms on appearance and hygiene, and maybe even your demeanor has changed a little bit.
We've touched on what I consider kind of some of the basic trail terminology, and let's get into some more of these other ones. You and I have sat down and talked about a little bit of this stuff, like a Nero, a Tramley, Yogi, Ridge Runner, Yellow. What are some of these things that are maybe a little bit more obscure?
Like a 0 day. Did I mention
you mentioned 0 day earlier.
A 0 day is a day where you do 0 miles, and you know that's really important for when you go into town. Usually you'll do a 0 day, maybe stay in a nice hotel, take a shower, resupply.
And then
a Nero day would be
close to that. A Nero.
Yeah, it's nearly a 0 day, but maybe you hiked you know, a few miles to get into town. So technically you did more than 0.
Yeah.
So it was near 0.
I like that one.
Yeah. Sometimes it's good to sort of time your 0 days with the weather.
Yeah.
You know, if you see a storm rolling in, it's a good 0 day.
What are some more of the other ones, like Trail Magic, Trail Angel, Privy, Pack Sniffer? I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a fun one.
A privy is just a primitive composting bathroom. The way the toilets work is the bacteria and stuff break them down, and you can throw a little bit of leaf litter in there, and so that's a privy. And a cat hole is just like you'd think, like a cat digs in the ground. Dig a hole and do your business.
What is a pack sniffer?
There's a lot of pack sniffer, especially in the Smokies. Pack sniffer is
that's one of my more favorite terms that I've heard, just because it's really fun.
Anything with the word sniffer in it.
Yeah.
A pack sniffer is that guy or that gal that wants to know all the gear that you've got. You know, what kind of spork you have, if it's titanium or if it's plastic. Yeah, it can be used in a good way or in a bad way, I guess you'd say.
I gotcha.
Here comes the rain. What I call hiking in the rain type 2 fun.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing, like, sucks at the time, but then you look back and you've got stories. And I can remember hiking through the Smokies, and the trail was a creek because of the amount of rain.
Yeah.
And it was not pleasant at the time, but looking back, you got stories, right?
Yeah.
It's type 2 fun.
Exactly. What are some more of the obscure terminology, kind of like yogi?
Okay. Yogi is when you charm someone, maybe another hiker, maybe a day hiker, or maybe someone in town, charm them with your thru-hiker charm and get some food maybe, or, you know, take a peek in their picnic basket.
Ah.
Yeah, so you see what
okay.
and they give you stuff sometimes.
I got you.
Another one comes to mind is slack pack. Slack pack is where you're kind of slacking. So you give your backpack to someone that can take your backpack, your heavy backpack, from one trail intersection to another road usually. And another one along those lines is yellow blazing, which sometimes frowned upon, I guess. Yellow blazing is when you follow the yellow blazes on the road by hitching rides instead of the white blazes on the trees. So for those of your listeners that don't know, that AT is marked by white blazes all the way up from Georgia to Maine. You follow the white blazes.
We got a few more to go through here, so stick with us. I'm going to name them off real quick, and then I just want you to give me the definitions of them, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So we've got Ridge Runner, Vitamin I, Yo-Yo, trail name, which you do have a trail name, right?
Trail name, Mr. Botany. Ridge Runner, that would be usually in the parks. There's Ridge Runner, like the Smokies or maybe the White Mountain National Forest. There's in the Roans also have their own Ridge Runner. It's someone that just kind of patrols the ridge. It's kind of like the AT police. Okay. But yeah, so that's Ridge Runner. Vitamin I, every hiker's best friend, ibuprofen. What else? A yo-yo. I saw yo-yo. That's going back to the sort of like the directionality sort of conversation we had earlier. Yo-yo is hike from one terminus, let's just say Georgia, to Maine, and then back, all in one go. So you yo-yo, like you.
People do that.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Y'all are crazy. You've got a trail name. What is a trail name? How did you get yours, and how do most people get theirs?
So you have to be patient for a trail name. I think it's more fun, and you own it more when it just happens naturally. And I think a lot of people maybe get antsy about getting a trail name when they thru hike, but it's just a name. It's just a nickname that you sort of earn on the trail. My trail name was Mr. Botany. That was something that someone just called me off the cuff and just kind of stuck. So it's a fun cultural aspect of the trail, and it sticks with you for the rest of your life, really.
All right. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners, with our viewers, before we sign off today?
No, I just want to emphasize the importance of not getting caught up on thru hiking or even section hiking, and just for people just to get out there and be a part of the trail, be a part of the culture, and also to give back to the trail. That's another thing that really, especially Kayla, sort of developed after the trail, was an appreciation for the maintainers, and to sort of thank them, and also to give back to the trail by joining your local trail club, doing some trail maintenance, picking up, maybe go lopping some limbs that might be in the way, and just to get out there, for people just to get out there and don't get caught up on the overwhelming majesty of the trail.
I got you. Thank you very much for joining
us.
Thank you to our listeners. If you guys would please give us a like, share, subscribe, help us get the word out there, and help us maintain this magical trail that goes through Northeast Tennessee. Thank you to the Willow Tree Coffee House and Music Room for hosting us. I've been your host, Kenneth Medley. This podcast has been a presentation of the Northeast Tennessee Regional Economic Partnership, with special thanks to East Tennessee State University, Yeehaw Brewing Company, and Irwin Fiber, provided by Irwin Utilities. Produced by 3Map.